Tom Horton here, everybody, on Keyboard Skills Pro. Welcome. And today, I thought I'd do another hints and tips video for organ and keyboard players. Whatever keyboard or organ you own at home, hope you enjoy playing it. And today I'm going to show you how to make your instruments sound realistic. And what we're going to be talking about today is where you actually select your voices from. Now, I'm playing here on my keyboard here in my studio, but if you're playing on, say, a beautiful Lowrey organ at home or something similar, we're going to show you how to set these voices up. So, first of all, we're going to talk about two words, polyphonic and monophonic. Now, polyphonic sounds, poly means many, so these are voices that can play as many notes pretty much as they want. So, for example, the grand piano. We all know that can play many notes. If you pick a string section, if you have violins, cellos, violas, double basses, you can play lots of notes. Okay, maybe the mighty pipe organ, something like this. A guitar can of course play chords. And also other instruments can play more than one note, like the vibraphone with two mallets. Okay, so almost together there. But the point is, a lot of those instruments can play more than one note. Now what I often hear with hobby players is they'll put a trumpet on and then this will happen. They sometimes catch notes accidentally. Or you can play chords. But here's the thing you've got to remember. That's not how a trumpet works. We press trumpet on our organ and keyboards and then we play a chord. Now in real life you'd need 1, 2, 3 trumpets to play that G chord. But on the organ and the keyboard we kind of take for granted that we can have as many trumpeters as we want. Now I'm going to show you how to play very realistically by putting the instruments in the right sound sections. So here's the tip. When you're playing with instruments that we call polyphonic, and these would be voices that would go on your right hand, your upper sounds, your orchestral sections, piano, strings, organ, guitar, vibraphone, things like that are ones you can play with many notes. But let's say we were playing a little number, let's say as time goes by. Now there, I have a solo saxophone. Now that's the key word there, solo. Solo means one. Mono means one. So on your organ and keyboard, what you need to do is put the saxophone into the solo voice section. Sometimes this is labelled the lead voice. Okay. On my keyboard here, I have to turn a button on that's labelled mono. And that turns the saxophone from being able to play many notes, which is the world of keyboards, okay, 5 saxes there, to a solo sax. Now watch what happens when I play one key after the other. Can you hear each time the highest key takes over from the one beneath it? Even though I'm still playing the other keys, look. Okay, the top note is what it always reverts back to. So a saxophone works better if on your organ or keyboard you turn it into a mono voice. Put it in the solo section, those who've got Lowrey organs, or a lead voice section. That sounds so realistic because not only are we playing with a great sound, but we're letting the keyboard control the voice. It means you'll get an ultra-realistic saxophone sound because the keyboard is only letting you play one note at a time. If you catch the keys, look, the keyboard and the organ will take over and say, no, you're playing a higher note, I'm going to switch it. And of course that's how saxophones work. They switch by pushing the keys down, and the tube gets lengthened and shortened, and the airflow obviously changes and resonates to give those different tones. Let's now try a flugelhorn. That's a brass instrument. So a brass instrument, again, can only play one note at a time. Okay, so there you go. So saxophones, altos, tenors, trumpets, flugelhorns, they all need to go. Here's a little Dixieland. So here I've got a solo trumpet, and I've got a solo trombone. These sound really cool when you play them as solo instruments. By the way, what you have to remember with wind and brass instruments in particular, you have to remember that the sound of those instruments is produced by the player blowing into the instrument. You can't hold a note down for a long time because the saxophonist will run out of breath. So if we're playing, let's say, that saxophone we had earlier, think about the little phrases and put some little lifts in. Breath. So he'd hold that note on, then he'd let go, take a breath. So remember to put little gaps in the phrases, and your music will have lines over the notes, often to show the breathing and the phrasing marks. Let's go back to our Dixie sound that we had a little while ago. Now there, look, the trombone has switched on a feature called portamento. So if I catch the two notes, it glides up. Okay, let's try a flute in a sort of a more Baroque classical music kind of setting. Okay, you hear the lifts there going on to give the flute player breath, 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 breath. So little tiny lifts in between the notes makes a big difference to those sounds. But if you're playing with strings, that's a polyphonic voice. Here's the piano with strings. Okay, so that works really well. Okay, so you can play chords with those sound really nice. What if we had a guitar? Single notes. So there you go, when I play my chords, I come strumming. There we go, lovely sounds there. Number 6 on my keyboard, I've set some settings up here. Here's the sax section sound. So a sax section is a voice that's recorded to make it sound like a sax section, so I can play full chords. And we've also got the organ. So here's an organ sound. Let me show you something which is quite funny. If you put a piano into a solo section, listen to what happens to it. So it's cutting out, so it doesn't work properly, because a piano can play as many notes, the notes sustain, whereas the brass and the wind instruments, those work well. By the way, if you're playing oboes and even violins and cellos, put those in your solo voice section. They work really well. Hope that's been useful to you, and it's going to help make those instruments sound even more realistic. Thanks ever so much for watching. My name's Tom. I've put a bit of a PDF together for you, which is in the description below. Click on the link and you'll be able to print it out or download it to your tablet and try those out on your organs and keyboards. If you've enjoyed this video, please do hit subscribe. It'd be great to gain you as a subscriber. And if you really enjoyed the music lesson today, don't forget, musicians like myself, this is how we earn our living. We teach, we perform, we do different things. And if you would like to make a contribution to the production of these videos, which of course do take equipment, cameras, software, lots of time to edit them, please do consider becoming a patron of mine on my Patreon page. The links are in the description. Thanks ever so much for watching on Keyboard Skills Pro.